All right, welcome to episode number 4 of the building season. And today, we're going to cover where we at in terms of our building phase. Well, actually, I'm still building, but Michelle is officially now in a cutting phase. And so she's gonna, give us
an introduction.
Introduction, yes, to a cutting phase. So she's gonna give us a little bit of a recap of how her building phase went. She did a really good job.
Amazing.
And now your second week of the cutting phase, introduction to the cutting phase, has been going. So, Michelle.
Thank you very much, Jay.
Yes.
So just to recap, you guys started following us back in December, and I finished off around 113 pounds at the end of my cut, more or less 112 to 113.
Yeah.
And then I started a pretty fast reverse, quickly going from an average of about 1,300 calories up to 2,100 calories in, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks.
Yes.
And so I think the last time that we finished episode 3, I was probably at around 119.
Yes, you were
or so
yeah.
in January. And then, so the goal with my coach was to get me up to 130. So I think I told you guys I was very, very, I guess leery of hitting that weight, because I had no idea what I would look like at that weight. Usually I go up to about 121 in my off season, and I've always felt like that's quite big. And I've only kind of stayed there for maybe one month or so, and then I start the next prep. And I love to get shredded. I love the diet phase. So I was like, what the heck is this going to look like? And I mean, I really didn't know.
I do remember those questions. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, God, am I going to have this big belly? Like, what's it going to look like? And so in February, my coach said, listen, you got to get up to, you got to gain 15 pounds from your stage weight. You got to get up to about 130 pounds. And my body was really kind of stuck gaining at that point. So he's like, he just threw macros at me. He's like, all right, you're going to have, I was at so much fat. I had 121 grams of fat. So I had 6 meals a day plus an intra-workout protein carb drink. It was 30 grams of protein per meal plus 10 grams intra-workout. So that was like 190. There were no low days. It was all the same macros every day.
60 grams of
carbs per meal plus 30 intra-workout. So 60 times 6, 360 plus.
So 390 grams of carbs.
390 grams of carbs every single freaking day.
Yeah.
And 120 grams of, 15 grams of fat.
Yeah.
And fat coming out of the eating. I was eating nuts. I was eating peanut butter. I was like,
whatever she could find her hands on. Yeah.
Chocolate chip cookies, yeah.
And the best part.
What's the best part?
Per week. Well, the best part. You get 3 cheat meals a week, right? Or 3 free meals a week.
Yeah, I don't know if that was it. Sorry, I don't know if that was the best part, because I'm 5'2", I'm a small girl, I'm a little bit older, 49 years old. That's a lot of food.
Yes,
and it actually, I was never hungry. In fact, I was waking up full. I was never hungry.
Yeah.
And as a physique athlete, I'm really used to that, having that healthy appetite before meals. I kind of like that hunger before meals, and so I just never had that. I was still digesting meal 1, and then it was meal 2, and I actually had to put meal times down.
Yeah.
So I had 6 a.m. first meal, because I got caught a couple of days where I just totally missed my macros by 400 or 500 calories. So I said, okay, how am I going to do this? I'm going to have a strategy. So if I'm going to have all my meals in by this time before bed, and then I'm going to have that first meal by 6. So I had all my meal nights, had meal times in them, and that really helped me a lot. I was really able to hit the macros then, and I had to eat a lot of fast digesting carbs, really calorie dense, not necessarily nutrient dense. It was really good calorie dense, macro dense food. So I couldn't really have salads.
Just to give you an idea, guys, for fun, Michelle and I, we did calories per pound of body weight.
I was beating.
Yeah, Michelle was beating me by 6, so she was eating 28 calories per pound of body weight.
Refeed days, it was up to 30 calories per pound.
Yeah, and I was around 22, 23, and I was like, I was feeling full after my meal, so I could just imagine how much food Michelle had to ingest. And when you're talking about strategy in the building season, you absolutely need one or multiple to hit those numbers because, you know.
Yeah, it's a day after day after day. Because you really do have to have a strategy.
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of trust with your coach.
Yes,
I took measurements on a regular basis. I sent in clear progress photos. If I was concerned about something, I'd reach out to my coach and let him know what I was feeling. I didn't do things behind his back. I was just really, really open.
Yeah.
I was really open to getting that coaching. I did my research to find a good coach. And you need that, right? Because when you're going into this kind of unknown territory, you really need to trust that somebody else has your best interest at heart.
Mm-hmm.
And the weight slowly went on. I mean, we got me up to about an average of about 127 pounds.
Yes.
Through the month of February, and then I think, then he adjusted my macros down, and I actually kept gaining weight. So I ended up at about 130, 131 pounds by the end of my cut, which was just the end of my build, which was 2 weeks ago. And he cut back calories a couple more times. We went down to one cheat meal per week, and I think at the end it was protein never changed. So protein stayed constant. But fats came down a lot. Fats went all the way down from 120 down to 40, 60 at the end, right? And then when I started my cut, I went down to 42. So, and my carbs went from, they're at 390 at the highest in February, and then they came down to 270. Yeah. That was my last set of macros, so 190, 270, and 60 were my macros the last couple of weeks of my build. And I was holding the weight really well. I was really constant. I was really happy with how I looked. My belly calipers went up to 16 millimeters, which is pretty big for me. I usually can stay within 10, 11, 12 millimeters in my off season. So that was, but I overall felt pretty good. I'd say there were a couple of moments where I was like, oh yeah, I don't know if I like how this looks. But I would push through that mindset. I would flip it around and just stay really, really focused on the goal and the process.
And the other thing that I could add on that was that in those moments, I remember Michelle, you know what, I'm going to send my photos to my coach, tell him how I feel, just so that you get that positive reinforcements that yes, you're hitting
you're on track.
You're on track.
And I really kept that discipline of eating regular meals. That's really key to, as myself, I'm a coach, and I'm lucky. I've got a good handful of girls that are doing a really strong build as well.
Yes.
I think it probably helped that they saw their kids doing a build with them. And results don't lie. They're just really, really coachable, really, really pedantic in terms of following through the protocol, staying in touch with me, updating their metrics, sending me photos. And so the whole process was an eye-opener. Myself getting coached, myself coaching someone through big builds, and seeing that, the same strategies that work in a cut, in a contest prep, planning out your meals in advance, spacing out the meals, making sure you're accounting for fluctuations in appetite, using metrics and photos to really, gauge your progress. Yeah, those things, they work the same way in a build. And a lot of people, I think, make a big mistake. They kind of throw all that out. They stop measuring themselves. They develop a really unhealthy attitude towards those metrics, towards the scale, towards calipers. They let their habits go outside the window in terms of planning their food,
meal timing.
They start doing weird things like extra cardios or skipping meals, and there's that integrity breach, I would call it. And they also don't, because they're not taking metrics and they're not really following macros or anything, they end up in a position where they're just eating more food and they're really not trying to focus on gaining muscle.
Yes.
So, yes, of course you're going to gain fat, but if you do things really in an organized fashion, in a way that allows a coach to make smart adjustments if necessary, then you're going to minimize how much fat you gain.
Absolutely.
And that's key.
Yeah, that's key. And funny enough, the same will apply in the cut as well. If you're kind of erratic into your cut, et cetera, the goal in the cutting phase is to maximize the loss of body fat while maximizing muscle retention. But if you're kind of erratic, in cutting phase, oftentimes we see athletes, they're losing some body fat, but they're losing a ton of muscles because they're kind of all over the place. So building those habits into your building season are really important. And And if you allow me, Michelle, one thing that I've noticed is she has been so on it in terms of meal planning, taking progress photos, etc., that now when it was time to make that switch into, okay, I'm going into my introduction to cutting phase.
There's no hiccup.
There's no hiccup, and there's not a need of a 2-3 weeks to relearn how to meal plan, how to meal prep, etc. She has been keeping those habits with her. So after week 1, already we're able to see some progression, and she's like, man, I'm super happy to send like what I did to my coach, and he's gonna have like a really good idea of where things are going with his strategy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, I think it's important to highlight because, as physique competitors, when we're getting ready for a show, there's a clock, there's a deadline, and if you decide to go for a 24-week prep, for example, or 20-week prep, whatever it might be, if you take 4 weeks to be ready to start the prep, then it's 4 weeks that you cannot recover at the end. Wasted them. And then either your coach needs to go like much more aggressive, and you can put yourself in a muscle catabolism situation, which is not great, or worse, you end up at the end and you're like, damn, I was not able to achieve the amount of conditioning that I was looking for. So.
And you really don't want to be, you don't want to be practicing failure. I mean, we always say you got to fail forward in the sense that, you got to take risks. You're not always going to know the layout of a situation, and sometimes you got to go for it, learn from your mistakes. But that's very different from practicing a non-successful habit and doing it over and over again. And I really don't recommend that. I think, if you can get your head straight and be clear about your strategy and what adherence means, and then keep leveling up your behaviors to align with those strategies and goals, you're gonna with each prep you do or every build you do, you become a better person. You build your character. Your word has integrity, and there's nothing like going to sleep at night satisfied. You gave it 100% effort, and you know that you can trust yourself. You have goals, and you can trust yourself that you'll do the work necessary to achieve those goals. So.
Yeah, and I feel that if ever there's a hiccup, because that can happen, because you have that goal, because you have that compelling vision, you can take that little mistake that you had along the way and say, okay, what happened? Learn from it, and then just become a better athlete or adopt like a slightly different strategy, so you're still able to meet your goals. And like Michelle mentioned,
the key is that you learn.
Yes, that you learn.
You learn from your mistakes
and keep your word with.
So let's talk about your build, right? You're still building.
Yes.
Big boy.
Yeah, still building. So the last time we talked together, guys, in episode number 3, my body weight was around 217 pounds. Things were going well, and then with my coach said, "Brother, you're looking pretty good here. So
you look so fine.
You look so fine." Slowly and surely, we bumped up the calories coming from carbohydrates, coming from fat as well. So just to give you a number in terms of fat macros, because that's the one that got increased the most. Like I'm in an area where it's one of the first time I'm there. It went from 150 grams of fat now up to I'm at 200 grams of fat a day. So good calorie increase there.
Basically, a jar of peanut butter lasts 1 week.
Can't say that on camera. Like Michelle said, you need to find a way to meet those calories.
This is the most fat you've been, because we kind of thought you were kind of a lower fat guy, but you feel more that you're really embracing this higher fat approach.
Absolutely. And I realized that in the last preparation that I had, my last cutting phase, from the moment I decided to up my calories or up my fat macros, and dropping down my carbohydrates, I got really positive effect in terms of the shredding process, feeling relatively good most of the time, even in the more strenuous weeks of preparation. So right there, it gave me an idea that
that was a big difference for you.
Yeah, it was a big difference for me. No more like crying all the time, like one of my preps that I did this past summer. So
And you're training 6 times a day, 6 times a week?
6 times a day, maybe. Yes, 6 times a week. And the way, the program is devised is that I have 2 push day a week, 2 pull days a week, and 2 leg days a week. So on push day, we're going to focus on chest, shoulders, tricep work. On pull days, obviously back, bicep, posterior delt work. And on leg days, the first leg day will be a little bit more towards hypertrophy, functional hypertrophy. So we're thinking 6 to 10 repetitions. And then the second day is mostly pump work. So 10 all the way to 50 repetitions. So pretty awesome workout. The cool thing is, not only my body weight went up from 217 pounds, slowly up to 235. I never weighed that in my life. But from a training standpoint, I feel much stronger. And so, to give you an idea.
Yeah, you've been having a few PRs lately.
Yeah. Like to give you an idea on squats, really good volume PR of 365 pounds for 3 sets of 6 repetitions. I can't recall the last time that I did that same thing on the incline bench press. I was able to go up for sets of 6 at 270 pounds. I was never able to do that. And for me, that's something pretty important because especially when you're in an environment where you have to do a lot of repetitions, sets of 6, 8, 10, 12, and that you do get stronger in those rep ranges, you need to, it tells you right there that you added muscle tissue because you need muscle to
move that weight.
Now,
one thing that I wanted to talk about was body positivity, right?
Yes.
Because I'm your wife. I've seen you. You're usually shredded. You're usually a more lean guy,
yes.
And here you are, like you say, you've never weighed 235. I've never weighed 130, and you're such an inspiration to me because you have so much confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
I see you flexing around the gym. You still have abs.
Yeah.
You do full posing videos. It's just freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You love your food. You love how you look. You're just, as I said, really confident, really relaxed.
Yeah.
Do you have to work on your mindset, or is it just natural for you?
That's a great question. Actually, it really started in 2019 at the end of my building season. I remember especially when I would finish upper body workouts, I would look at myself in the mirror and I was liking what I was seeing. I felt like
Remember you said that back then?
Yeah, I felt like a Viking. I felt like a gladiator at the end of a battle, minus the blood all over the face. And I remember at that time saying, "Wow, I could live in that body and feel really comfortable with the image I see of myself." So, and then from there I started my cutting phase. So for me, coming back into a building phase,
you were excited.
Yeah, I was excited, and I was able to again catch on, I guess, that feeling of, wow, I'm a Viking. I look like a CrossFit athlete, like a rich running type of guy, and I just embraced it. And yes, there's a little bit more body fat here and there, but
booty.
A bit more booty. But I don't mind. I'm totally okay with it, and it's part of the ensemble. I'm like, yeah, there's a bit more body fat here, but the image I'm seeing here is a powerful image. It's an image that I feel inspired by, and yeah, I just really love it. And the cool thing is, it really helps me embracing the building season and everything that comes along with it. Because, like Michelle mentioned earlier, there's moments where you're not hungry, but you need to get that meal in. And if you have that compelling vision of, wow, every time I work out or when I lift my shirt up, whatever, I look and I feel powerful, you know what? I'm gonna eat that meal.
Yeah, you gotta have that joy, really understand that this is what I want to do.
Exactly.
And I have gratitude that I'm able to do it,
yes.
And I love what I'm doing.
I love what I'm doing. Yeah, and lastly, I would say that because of that, doing this day in and day out, the next time I'll start a cutting phase and the next time that I'll be on stage, I'll be able to see dramatic difference, dramatic changes in my physique. And that for me, like it's a kind of a carrot on a stick, like it's far away. I love to say my show is like 65 weeks out, but man, each day I'm super motivated to meet my training goals, my nutritional goals, because when I'll be on stage next time, I'll be like, wow, you did the work every day, day in and day out, and you left most stone unturned.
All right, guys, so that is a wrap for episode 4.
Yes.
And we hope you got some good content. Please like and subscribe to our channel. And also, please let us know what else you'd like to hear about. We will be continuing with these episodes covering Jay's build, and you're going to get a little glimpse of my cut. Hopefully, there will be a show for me.
Absolutely, yes.
So, tune back in.
Yes.